while investigating a minor sexual assault case that dates back to February 28 this year. More skeletons tumbled out of the box during the raids at the so-called farmhouse of Rimpu Bagan, which has been owned by Bernard Marak. During the raids, which began last evening and concluded at 5 this morning, the police found many young boys and girls openly drinking in the premises, inside the rooms, as well as inside the vehicles, and were found in compromising positions. Accordingly, the search team detained all these boys and girls, numbering around 68 numbers, for interrogation. However, some of them managed to run away, taking advantage of darkness. The search team also apprehended the manager, caretaker, and other 3 staff. Later, the whole premise was searched in presence of independent witnesses and 36 vehicles, 47 mobile phones, illegal stashed liquor, huge quantity of contraceptives, and other incriminating materials were recovered. Shockingly, 5 children, which included 4 boys and 1 girl, were also found locked inside a dinky cabin like unhygienic rooms. And all the children were in a state of shock and were unable to speak properly. All these children were handed over to District Child Protection Officer for safe custody and further necessary action as per law. From the materials recovered at Rimpu Bagan, as well as the design of building, etc., it appears that the place was being used by Bernard and Marak at Rimpu and his accomplices as a brothel for the purpose of prostitution. All 73 detained persons have been arrested and being forwarded to the court. The main accused, namely Bernard and Marak at Rimpu, was verbally instructed to cooperate with the investigation and surrendered himself at Shillong Sadar police station immediately. However, he has not cooperated and is evading arrest as per the West Garo Hills police. And meanwhile, we have first reactions coming in from Meghalaya DGP L.R. Bishnoi. The Meghalaya top cop said that there are no whereabouts of Bernard Marak as of now, while his last location was traced to be in Guwahati. Listen in.
So yesterday raid started at about 6 p.m. It continued for 7-8 hours, and they have recovered some incriminating documents, register, etc. The Tura police has picked up 73 youth. Out of that, 26 are female and rest male. They have also rescued 5 number of children. The children were locked in a room, and from outside the lock was broken, and after that, one after another, 5 children were rescued, and out of 5, 1 was female. And in subsequent search, they have seized nearly 37 vehicles and 47 mobile phones, 30,000 rupees cash, and 500 packets of condom and contraceptive tablets, and few other incriminating documents. The search, when I last spoken with SP Tura, the search was still going on. The case has been registered already at Tura Women Police Station under Section 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7 of the Immoral Trafficking Act 1947. The owner of that resort, Mr. Bernard R. Marak, he is not found available at his residence or in Shillong. We got the information that he was in Shillong. When the police went there, he was not found there. So now the last location was in somewhere near Guwahati, and after that the mobile phone is switched off. So the investigation is continuing now. Meghalaya police will go strictly as per law. And the recovery itself indicate that something fishy was there. He has no license to run that. And then why the liquors was also recovered? More than 400 bottle liquors were recovered. He has no license for that. And 500 condoms packets were recovered. This indicates that it was run as a brothel, and the police will take action as well.
And earlier, West Garo Hills SP Vivekananda Singh also spoke to our Chief of Bureau Arindam Das on this big development in details. Listen in.
We are joined in by the SP of West Garo Hills, Mr. Vivekananda Singh. Well, since last night you have been carrying out a raid in Tura. Can you please brief us on it?
Yes, we have started this raid yesterday at around 6 p.m. at a place called Rimpu Bagan, which is located in Edenbari area of Tura. Actually, in the month of February, we got a missing child complaint, which later turned out to be a POXO case. And in that case, the victim girl, she stated that she was sexually assaulted in one of the rooms in this Rimpu Bagan. That was the basis of our operation. Apart from this case, also we have been receiving a lot of complaints from a lot of residents of Tura that many immoral activities are going on, and in the dead of the night, a lot of young boys and girls are frequenting this place for reasons best known to them. So that's why we went ahead and conducted this search operation basically. And during the search operation, we have arrested 73 persons. Some are caretakers of that property, and others are the boys and girls who were found there drinking openly, and then in vehicles. Some of them were without clothes also. Some were with very less clothes on the body. It was very clear that what activity is going on there. Then, after doing a thorough search of the premises, we recovered five children also, four male children, one female child, and they were held like captive in dingy rooms, very small rooms, unhygienic, no circulation, no ventilation, nothing. I don't know what these kids were doing there, who kept them, why they were there. So immediately we informed our child welfare committee and child protection officer and took them to safe custody. Even district magistrate was present during the operation, partly. Other magistrates were there. Many other concerned heads of the department, especially the child care institutions, in discharge under this Juvenile Justice Act. They were also present during this whole operation. So 73 persons arrested, five children rescued, and then a lot of illegal liquor was recovered. Two knives were also recovered, long knives. Then one bow and some arrows were also recovered. Cash was recovered. Around 500 packets of condoms were recovered. So all the legal formalities are being completed now.
So, under what sections cases have been registered now?
The origin of the such operation was based on the 164 statement of victim girl in a POXO case. But after finding out these things, we have registered a fresh case under Immoral Trafficking Prevention Act 1956, and we are going ahead with the investigation now.
So, is the interrogation on, and have they told something to you so far?
Frankly speaking, we have not been able to interrogate them thoroughly till now because the raid had just finished an hour back, and 73 arrests involves a lot of paperwork, medical examination of all these people, and then COVID test because COVID is again rising slightly.
Yes.
So paperwork is going on now. They'll be forwarded to the court. So once we get the police custody, then we will sit down and interrogate them properly.
And
preliminary interrogation, whatever we did, they took the name of one Bernard N. Marak, alias Rimpu, who is member of Garo Hills Autonomous District Council.
Okay.
This guy was chairman of a disbanded militant outfit, ANVCP.
Okay.
And we have been getting credible information that he is indulging in a lot of criminal activities like extortion from the traders in Tura town, then extorting money in the name of facilitating grant of a trading by non-tribal license to the businessman. He takes a cut from there.
Okay.
Then a lot of other criminal intimidation type of activities, smuggling, illegal lottery. You can count, it's like endless list.
So will he be also arrested in this connection?
We contacted him last night. We told him to surrender himself at Shillong Sadar Police Station.
Okay.
Because he was in Shillong yesterday.
Okay.
But he did not listen to our directions, and now he is evading arrest. He's hiding somewhere. We don't know where.
Okay.
But sooner or later we will arrest him.
So he's absconding right now.
I cannot say absconding, evading arrest, because he has not been declared as absconder, so I can't say that he's absconding,
Okay.
but he's evading arrest.
And now on to the big story from the Arunachal Pradesh rescue operations. Well, one more worker from Assam has been rescued in Arunachal Pradesh's Kurung Kumei district today. The rescued worker has been identified as Ibrahim Ali. With this, the total number of rescued workers stand at 8. Meanwhile, the Kurung Kumei district administration have airlifted 5 out of the remaining rescued workers from Assam due to deteriorating health. Well, the 5 workers have been airlifted from Damin Circle to the Tobo Rima Institute of Medical Sciences in Naharlagun. And meanwhile, these are the first and exclusive visuals that you can see on your screens of the 5 workers being admitted at the trips. Meanwhile, 2 other workers are being brought to Koloriang from Damin via road. This was informed by Kurung Kumei DC Nighi Bengya. Also, what's mentioning here is that as per the rescued workers, 2 of the missing workers had died in between, with one falling in a river while another died in the jungle. Meanwhile, the Indian Air Force has also halted the search and rescue operations by choppers for the day due to inclement weather. Throughout the day, the Indian Air Force carried out aerial surveys. A series of Mi-17 choppers and other Indian Air Force helicopters with high maneuverability engaged in the search operations. Additionally, temporary helipads have also been made for the choppers to land easily in the rough and uneven terrain, along with refueling provisions. It may be reminded here that 8 of the total 19 missing workers have been found and rescued after nearly 3 weeks of the futile search operations. While 4 missing workers were rescued late last evening, 4 workers have been rescued today. And it was on July 5th when a total of 19 workers, all hailing from Assam, fled from the road construction project site where they had been engaged. All right, more on this. We are being joined live with our correspondent Ripunjoy Das. So, Ripunjoy, big development there. One more worker from Assam has been rescued in Arunachal Pradesh Kurung Kumei district today. So, give us more details. What are the latest you have on this?
Yes, Priya, with the addition of this worker, the final figure as of now stands at 8. That is what the administration has confirmed before us. And total, as we all know, that there were 19 workers, and out of them, 8 has been rescued. And on to the other part, Priya, since they were rescued late last evening, and they were being continuously administered first aid at a medical base in Huri village, where they were brought in after they were rescued. These workers were administered first aid and some injectables, and locally whatever medical attention was possible that was given to them. However, out of the 7, the condition of 5 deteriorated largely due to dehydration and total lack of various other ingredients in their body, in their physics. They were physically totally drained out. So due to this, the administration took a decision, and immediately 5 among the 8 workers were airlifted to Nahar Lagoon, and they are now where they are now being treated. Rest 2 of them are being brought by road, and the onto the search operation, Priya, that was halted due to inclement weather. Since the choppers from the Indian Air Force, they were trying to search the entire area. We had that visual also, exclusive visual, in fact, for the viewers of Northeast Live. And we saw that how the Indian Air Force was trying to get some sight, some visibility of the rest of the missing, in fact, workers. Priya.
Right, Ripunja. Well, five of the workers which have been who have been airlifted today, they are undergoing treatment at TRIMS, isn't it? So, how tell us about their condition, Ripunja?
Priya, as I said, that they were totally drained out. Their physical condition is not there. They have said to the administrator that they are not feeling well. They are having severe chest pain, headache, body pain, and which is quite obvious because surviving in that adverse condition for around 3 weeks. It was today is the 19th day if we count from 5th July, where surviving in that kind of a tough geographical locale is only next to miracle, Priya. And that was quite obvious that these workers will be physically and mentally drained and exhausted. So, accordingly, they are now being treated, and we do hope that they will recover with better treatment and better medication now. Priya.
All right, Ripunjay Das, thank you so much for all those details. And shifting focus now. The Rising People's Party has launched an online campaign in Nagaland for the imposition of President's rule in the state. The online campaign aims to gather at least 10,000 signatures, which will be forwarded to Prime Minister Narendra Modi to take action on the demand. Earlier on May 12th, the RPP had submitted a representation to the centre pleading for President's rule in the state on grounds of financial emergency. Well, the party believes that imposition of President's rule is the only solution to fiscal mismanagement and systemic corruption plaguing the state under the present United Democratic Alliance government. So, big story we are tracking from Nagaland. Well, the Rising People's Party has launched an online campaign in Nagaland for the imposition of President's rule in the state. And meanwhile, the online campaign aims to gather at least 10,000 signatures, which will be forwarded to Prime Minister Narendra Modi to take action on the demand. And earlier on May 12th, the RPP had submitted a representation to the centre, pleading for President's rule in the state on grounds of financial emergency. Well, the party believes that the imposition of President's rule is the only solution to fiscal mismanagement and systemic corruption plaguing the state under the present United Democratic Alliance government.
Rio's government should be dismissed. Why? Because Nagaland is a failed state. The RBP demands for imposition of president's rule in the state of Nagaland. For this reason, we have undertaken an online signature campaign to raise 10,000 signatures, which will be submitted to the government of India for immediate action. 130,000 government employees have been paid in the last few months, which includes 15,000 work charge employees who haven't been paid in the last 1.5 years. Thousands of crores of rupees has been pumped into the state of Nagaland, and yet we have performed the worst in every parameter, including education, health, infrastructure, etc. According to the Congress President K. Thare, 70% of Manrega fund is been diverted by the politicians. According to his allegation, this money was used to win over 21 MPF MLAs into the NDPP fold. According to him, all the 21 MLAs were paid 2.50 CR each. So far, this hasn't been refuted by the UDA coalition. In GST, we're getting thousands of crores of rupees. Prior to 2017, when there was VAT, the state revenue through VAT was hardly 100 CR. Now we're getting thousands of crores. So where are all this money going? And now the state is claiming that it has no money even to pay the salaries of its own employees. So basically, what the RPP is saying is very simple. Evidences are there. The CAG report has made it very clear that there has been fraudulent withdrawal in almost all the government departments. There has been fiscal mismanagement, and therefore we are demanding that the government of India impose financial emergency in the state of Nagaland, and by extension, President's rule in the state of Nagaland. I hope the government of India will accede to the wishes of the Naga people on this issue.
All right, more on this, we are being joined over phone line with our correspondent, Sarah Konyak from Kohima. So, Sarah, will the RPP in Nagaland launches an online signature campaign for imposition of president's rule in the state? So, at when will the online signature campaign start, and give us more details regarding the entire development, Sarah? All right, we have lost a connection with Sarah Konyak, but the big story that we are tracking this evening from Nagaland is that the Rising People's Party has launched an online campaign in Nagaland for the imposition of president's rule in the state. And meanwhile, the online campaign aims to gather at least 10,000 signatures, which will be forwarded to Prime Minister Narendra Modi to take action on the demand. And on to the big story from Arunachal Pradesh now. Well, an organization by the name of Arunachal Against Corruption has begun a 7-day long peaceful sit-in protest in Itanagar. The civil society organization has accused Chief Minister Pema Khandu of being involved in multi-cross scams in various departments. The AAC has stated that Chief Minister Khandu is being involved in scams worth hundreds of crores in schemes such as the Sampurna Gramin Rojgar Yojana and Deen Dayal Upadhyay Gram Jyoti Yojana scams in departments such as Panchayat Raj, Power Department, Hydropower Project, and also the misuse of compensatory afforestation fund management and planning authority. Well, carrying on their sit-in protest at Itanagar's IG Park till July 29th, the AAC has demanded for the immediate resignation of Chief Minister Pema Khandu. The civil society organization has also sought for the immediate arrest of the officers involved in the various scams. The organization has also called for the CBI to conduct a free and fair probe into the various multi-cross scams in which they allege is a big nexus of politicians and government officers. Our colleague Meme Mangfi brings us this report from Ground Zero.
AAC, Arunachal Against Corruption. This organization have started its peaceful dharna today here at Itanagar Tennis Court, accusing the present Arunachal CM Pema Khandu of being involved in multi-crore scam in various departments. So right now we have the president with us of the AAC. Sir, your organization have accused the present CM involved in the multi-crore scam in various departments. Could you please highlight more on this to our viewers?
आज का दिन में हमारा ऑर्गेनाइजेशन अरुणाचल अगेंस्ट करप्शन आज पहला दिन है जो 23 है और हमारा परमिशन तो 23 से लेकर 29 तक है। तो आज यहाँ में बड़ी दुख के साथ हमारा ऑर्गेनाइजेशन यहाँ में धरना पीसफुल धरना कर रहा है। तो रिगार्डिंग मल्टी क्रॉस स्कीम्स का तो एलिगेशन रिगार्डिंग 6 पॉइंट्स हैं हम लोग का, जैसे कि उसमें पावर डिपार्टमेंट, माइनिंग डिपार्टमेंट में, पंचायती राज, खेमपा, उसके बाद ये जो ये राइस का, जैसे कि संपूर्ण ग्रामीण रोजगार योजना, ये एक पब्लिक का जो राइस प्रोवाइड करने के लिए ये स्कीम है, बहुत बड़ा स्कीम है। तो
जैसे कि आप लोग ने बताया कि आप लोग का जो ये पीसफुल धरना है आज से लेके 29 तक होगा, तो आपको लगता है कहीं न कहीं ये जो आप लोग का जो डिमांड है, जो जो हमारा जो प्रेज़ेंट जो सीएम है, उसका जो रेजिग्नेशन या और टू स्टेप डाउन फ्रॉम हिज पोस्ट, क्या ये एक कहीं न कहीं एक पॉजिटिव रिस्पॉन्स लाएगा क्या? बिकॉज़ आप आन्या ने भी सेम डिमांड रखा है और अभी हाल ही में 15 डेज़ का अल्टीमेटम भी दिया है।
देखिए, हमारा जो स्टेट है, हमारा जो देश है, ये एक डेमोक्रेसी कंट्री है। हर कोई अपना राइट मांगना है। हाँ, ऑब्वियसली अगर गलत किया है तो गलत तो साबित करना पड़ेगा। हमको सिर्फ नहीं, आपको सिर्फ नहीं, सभी को होगा, ये लागू होगा। कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन में क्लियर कट लिखा है, सबका पास राइट है, अपना जो राइट है उसको मांगना है, जो गलत किया है उसको सजा देना है।
And now it's time for a very short break. Stay tuned, I'll be right back.
A university is much more than just a place to get your education. It not only helps you build your career, but also your personality and mindset. At Assam Royal Global University, you will get the most suitable environment to gain knowledge and also grow as a person. The university has the best infrastructure with all the required facilities and best quality equipment for any kind of educational need.
দেশৰ সকলো আধুনিক চিকিৎসালয়ৰ পৰা এটা মাত উঠিছে,
আভাত।
বিশ্বমানৰ শিক্ষানুষ্ঠানসমূহে মাত্ৰ এটা বাৰ্তা প্ৰদান কৰিছে,
থেংক ইউ।
ভাৰতৰ সকলো উদীয়মান উদ্যোগীয়ে এক কণ্ঠত কৈছে,
ধন্যবাদ।
প্ৰগতিৰে উজ্বলি থকা গাঁওবোৰে মাত্ৰ এটা কথা কৈছে,
धन्यवाद। देश का ईमानदार टैक्स पेयर राष्ट्र निर्माण में बहुत बड़ी भूमिका निभाता है।
এই কৃতজ্ঞতা আপোনাৰ বাবে, সময়মতে আপোনাৰ কৰ পৰিশোধ কৰাৰ বাবে, যি দেশত এক ভৌতিক আৰু সামাজিক আন্তঃগাঁথনি উন্নত কৰাত সহায় কৰিছে। 31 জুলাই 2022 ভিতৰত আপোনাৰ আয়কৰ ৰিটাৰ্ণ দাখিল কৰক, যাতে আপুনিও ইয়াৰ পৰা লাভান্বিত হ'ব পাৰে। যিসকল লোক আৰু প্ৰতিষ্ঠানৰ একাউণ্ট কৰ অডিটৰ বাবে দায়বদ্ধ নহয়, তেওঁলোকৰ বাবে 31 জুলাই 2022 ভিতৰত তেওঁলোকৰ ৰিটাৰ্ণ দাখিল কৰাটো বাধ্যতামূলক। আপোনাৰ ৰিটাৰ্ণ দাখিল কৰিবলৈ www.incometax.gov.in লগ অন কৰক। আয়কৰ বিভাগৰ দ্বাৰা জনহিতাৰ্থে প্ৰচাৰিত।
This is Arjun, a BTech student at Lovely Professional University. I received one of the highest placement packages amongst all freshers in India with an amount of 63 lakhs. Looking back, studying at LPU has been one of my best decisions.
Think big, Lovely Professional University.
ডায়েৰিয়াৰ ফলত শৰীৰত পানী আৰু পৰিপুষ্টিৰ অভাৱ ঘটে। ডায়েৰিয়াৰ বাবে আহাৰ ভালকৈ হজম নহয়, ফলত খাদ্যৰ পৰা পাব লগা উপযুক্ত পৰিমাণৰ পুষ্টিকৰ উপাদানসমূহ শৰীৰে লাভ কৰিবলৈ সক্ষম নহয়। আপোনাৰ শিশুটিক ORSৰ মিশ্ৰণ খুৱাই থাকিব। ORSে কেৱল শৰীৰত হ্ৰাস পোৱা পানীৰ অভাৱ পূৰণ কৰাই নহয়, সমভাৱে শৰীৰত ইলেক্ট্ৰলাইটৰ ভাৰসাম্য পুনৰুদ্ধাৰ কৰাটো সহায় কৰে। সেইবাবে ORSক জীৱন ৰক্ষাকাৰী মিশ্ৰণ বুলিও কোৱা হয়। জিংক এবিধ মহত্বপূৰ্ণ সূক্ষ্ম পুষ্টি। ডায়েৰিয়া হ'লে শৰীৰত ইয়াৰ পৰিমাণ দ্ৰুতভাৱে হ্ৰাস পায়। যেতিয়া জিংক পৰিপূৰক হিচাপে প্ৰদান কৰা হয়, তেতিয়া ই বেমাৰৰ ম্যাদ আৰু জটিলতা হ্ৰাস কৰে। ইয়াক নিয়মীয়াকৈ 14 দিন গ্ৰহণ কৰাৰ ফলত ভৱিষ্যতে ডায়েৰিয়া হোৱাৰ সম্ভাৱনা হ্ৰাস পায়। ORS আৰু জিংকৰ লগতে শিশুটিক মাতৃদুগ্ধৰো সমানে প্ৰয়োজন আছে, কাৰণ শিশুটিৰ বাবে ই হৈছে এক সম্পূৰ্ণ আহাৰ। জন্মৰ পৰা 6 মাহলৈকে ই শিশুটিৰ দেহত পানী আৰু পৰিপুষ্টিৰ অভাৱ পূৰণ কৰে। মাতৃদুগ্ধই শিশু এটিৰ দ্ৰুত আৰোগ্যটো সহায় কৰে। 6 মাহতকৈ অধিক বয়সৰ শিশুসকলৰ দেহত পটেছিয়ামৰ অভাৱ পূৰণ কৰিবৰ বাবে পেটি লোৱা কল, নাৰিকলৰ পানী, দালিৰ পানী আৰু ফল-মূল, পাচলি আদিও খোৱাটো অতি জৰুৰী। ভিটামিন এৰ বাবে হালধীয়া ফল, কমলা আৰু সেউজীয়া পাচলি শিশুটিক নিশ্চয়কৈ খুৱাব। এইসমূহ দিশত গুৰুত্ব দি শিশুটিক আপুনি দুৰ্বলতাৰ পৰা বচোৱাৰ লগতে দ্ৰুত আৰোগ্য লাভৰ নিশ্চয়তা প্ৰদান কৰিব পাৰিব।
Welcome back. You're watching Evening Prime and moving on now. Parliamentarians bid farewell to outgoing President Ramnath Kovind today evening, a day before his tenure ends. President Kovind's farewell function was held in the Central Hall of the Parliament. Prime Minister Narendra Modi, President-elect Draupadi Murmu, Vice President M. Venkaiah Naidu, and Lok Sabha Speaker Om Birla, besides other dignitaries, were present on the occasion. During his farewell address, President Kovind thanked the citizens for giving him an opportunity to serve in the country's top constitutional post and cited that the parliament is a temple of democracy. Furthermore, addressing the parliamentarians, Kovind asked the political parties to rise above partisan politics in national interest and decide what is necessary for the welfare of people. He further emphasized the value of peace and harmony, saying people have a right to oppose and create pressure to pursue their goals, but their methods must be continued. Well, while congratulating Draupadi Murmu for being elected as the next president, Kovind asserted that India will benefit from her guidance. And on to Sikkim now. Well, the Pangyong Greenfield Airport, the lone airport connecting Sikkim with the rest of the world, is on the verge of closure after SpiceJet Airlines suspended its service for 51 days without any public notice, with no signs of resumption so far. Noteworthy here is that this is not the first time that the lone green airport in the strategic border state of Sikkim closed down. The Pangyong airport was closed down for 21 months from June 2019 to January 2021, citing unconducive landing and weather conditions and requirements of widening basic strip work for up to 40 meters. However, with the intervention of Sikkim High Court and assurance of the SpiceJet and Airport Authority of delegates comprising chief ministers, cabinet ministers, government officials, entrepreneurs, tour operators, scholars, cultural personalities will be traveling to Bangkok to attend the festival and exhibitions. The program includes interaction of chief ministers, top policy makers with top industry houses of Thailand, Royal Thai government. And meanwhile, special sessions like people to people exchange meet, business to business meet on trade and tourism will be held. Large exhibition of entrepreneurs, exhibition of cuisines, and showcasing of art and dance forms of Northeast India will be organized. Top Northeastern bands and Thai rock bands will perform in the festival. This event is considered as the largest initiative of India, especially in Southeast Asia, which is expected to create awareness and promote Act East. All right, shifting focus now. Well, bodies of two more persons who lost their lives in the devastating landslide at Tupul in Manipur's None district has been recovered. Well, this is a big development after rescue and search operations were called off 3 days ago. According to the police, the deceased persons have been identified as Chungthu Ilu Gondai Mei and her minor daughter Jian Thaunliu Gondai Mei. Well, the body parts were found while the railway department was carrying out excavation works to exhume buried machineries and construction materials. Well, this takes the total number of bodies recovered to 59, while two others are still missing. And on that note, I'll leave you with some news from across the nation in our News Express. Keep watching Northeast Live.
Chief of the banned Jammu and Kashmir Liberation Front, Yasin Malik, who is serving life term for cases including funding terrorism, has reportedly begun a hunger strike inside Tihar's jail. Malik, who is lodged in jail number 7 of Tihar prison, has alleged that his case is not being investigated properly as he commenced his hunger strike on July 22nd. It may be mentioned that Malik was convicted by an NIA court in terror funding cases on May 19th and sentenced to life imprisonment on May 25th. The National Investigation Agency Court will sentence Malik to life term, also imposed on him a fine of rupees 10 lakh. In his defense, Malik told the court that he did not contest the charges brought against him. On the other hand, on July 15 this year, the sister of People's Democratic Party President Mehbooba Mufti and daughter of former Jammu and Kashmir Chief Minister Mufti Muhammad Syed, Rubia Syed, identified Malik in connection with her kidnapping by JKLF militants on December 8, 1989. Meanwhile, Malik has moved an application with the central government asking for personal appearance in this case too. The Supreme Court issued notice to Karnataka State and others on a plea filed by former Karnataka Chief Minister B.S. Yediyurappa challenging an order of Karnataka High Court refusing to quash proceeding against him under corruption charges. Notably, a bench headed by Chief Justice of India N.V. Ramana issued notice on the plea filed by B.S. Yediyurappa and also stayed the Karnataka High Court order on Friday. It may be mentioned that B.S. Yediyurappa has challenged the Karnataka High Court order dated December 28, 2020, which refused to quash proceeding against him under the Prevention of Corruption Act in a matter pertaining to the alleged illegal denotification of several acres of land. According to the complaint, it was alleged that B.S. Yediyurappa, being a public servant from 2000 and 2005 in his capacity of Minister of Industries, Government of Karnataka, had misused his official powers in facilitating large-scale misuse of land. The complaint was registered by the Karnataka Lokayukta Police on December 21, 2015 on a private complaint. As many as 5 people reportedly died while one person was seriously injured after a speeding truck ran over Kanwar devotees returning to Gwalior from Haridwar in early hours today in Uttar Pradesh's Hathras district. The incident took place near Sadabad police station in Hathras. In this regard, Additional Director General of Police in Agra Zone, Rajiv Krishna, said that 7 Kanwar devotees were mowed down by a truck around 2:15 a.m. today at Sadabad police station in Hathras. Apart from the 5 deaths and 1 severe injury, 1 other person has been moderately injured. It was learned that the devotees were en route to Gwalior from Haridwar with their Kanwar. Meanwhile, the police assured the people that the matter is under investigation and the guilty will not be spared. Further investigation is underway. It may be noted that the district administration announced an ex gratia of rupees 1 lakh each for the 6 Kanwarias. 4 have been arrested after an alleged case of gang rape was reported from the New Delhi railway station on the night of Thursday. Reportedly, all the 4 accused are railway employees in electrical department. A 30-year-old woman was raped in a train lighting hut meant for a railway electrical maintenance staff, while 2 others guarded the room at New Delhi railway station, platforms 6 and 9 in the wee hours of Friday. It was learned that one of the arrested men, identified as 35-year-old Satish Kumar, has been known to the woman for the past 2 years. He introduced himself as a railway employee to the woman. Kumar told her that he can arrange a job for her in the Indian Railways. The other 3 arrested men, identified as 38-year-old Vinod Kumar, 33-year-old Mangal Chand Meena, and Jagdish Chand, who is 37-year-old, and all friends of Kumar. Further investigation is underway. Union Minister of Civil Aviation Jyotiraditya N. Scindia and Minister of State for Civil Aviation General B.K. Singh inaugurated the direct flight between Jabalpur and Kolkata by SpiceJet on Friday. Notably, the airline will be operating daily flights and deploy its Q400 78-seater turboprop aircraft designed for shorter distance flights on the route. Moreover, the Ministry of Civil Aviation informed that this new flight route is a part of 26 new domestic flights that SpiceJet is launching. Speaking on the occasion, Scindia said that there has been a massive expansion in the air services in the country in the last 1 year, particularly in Madhya Pradesh, where there were 554 aircraft movements per week in July 2021, and figures has now gone up to 980. It may be mentioned that the inaugural event was also graced by Lok Sabha MP Rakesh Singh, Rajya Sabha MP Vivek K. Tankha, Jabalpur Cantonment MLA Ashok Rohani, MOCA Secretary Rajiv Bansal, and SpiceJet CMD Ajay Singh, and many other dignitaries virtually. With the emergence of swine flu in the country, a youth has reportedly died of swine flu at Sir Ganga Ram Hospital. The deceased person was a resident of Muradabad district of Uttar Pradesh. He was swine flu positive and under treatment at Ganga Ram Hospital in Delhi. Meanwhile, the members of his family and close contacts are being closely monitored. In this regard, the CMO of Muradabad, MC Garg, said that arrangements are being made for diagnosis and treatment of swine flu at Muradabad District Hospital. Meanwhile, there has been a stir in Muradabad after the swine flu death came to light. Moreover, after this information, the health department has come into alert mode. At the same time, there were reports of pigs dying due to African swine flu in the capital, Lucknow, too. BSF reportedly opened fire at a Pakistani drone after spotting it near the international border in Kanachak sector of Jammu and Kashmir today. According to a senior BSF official, a blinking red light was observed by the troops coming from Pakistan's side in Kanachak area at 9:40 p.m. on Friday, following which the alert border security force troops fired at it. Meanwhile, the troops launched a search operation in the area, which is still going on. Earlier, police had busted 3 Lashkar-e-Toiba module, arresting 7 of its members and recovering huge cache of arms, ammunition, and explosive materials reportedly dropped by 20 drone sorties from Pakistan. Reportedly, Lashkar-e-Toiba had set up 3 terror modules in Jammu and Rajouri districts to collect and transport weapons dropped by drone in border areas of Jammu, Samba, Kathua, and Rajouri districts to terrorists in Kashmir. Bharatiya Janata Party workers today took to the streets of the national capital protesting against the Delhi government's new excise policy. The BJP workers also staged a protest outside the residence of Deputy Chief Minister Manish Sisodia. The workers in large numbers carrying placards and party flags raised slogans against the Delhi government and Chief Minister Arvind Kejriwal. Meanwhile, there was heavy deployment of police personnel and paramilitary force to prevent any untoward incident. The police had placed barricades on the roads to prevent the protesters from moving towards Sisodia's residence. But as the BJP workers trampled across the barricades and tried to cross it, they were subsequently detained by the police. After receiving heavy rainfall on Friday after a long gap, severe waterlogging was reported from Jaipur, giving the commuters a hard time. Rainfall varying from 50 mm to 40 mm was recorded in Jaipur in the evening. Moreover, many places in southern and eastern Rajasthan also witnessed rainfall. Notably, rainfall started in Jaipur at 6 p.m. and continued at many localities in the city for nearly an hour. Moreover, areas including Chhotwara, Khatipura, Banipar, Sodala, Malviya Nagar, Tongpatak, and Lalkoti witnessed moderate rainfall. The vehicular movement on Jammu-Srinagar National Highway was stopped after the heavy rainfall lashed the Udhampur area of the Union Territory today. Earlier, hundreds of trucks remained stranded in Udhampur district due to landslides caused because of heavy rainfall in Ramban sector. Recent incidents of heavy rainfall in the Union Territory in July have caused great damage to lives and property. Meanwhile, the Indian Meteorological Department in Srinagar issued warnings for heavy rainfall in Jammu and Kashmir. The Weather Forecasting Department has predicted fairly widespread light to moderate rain and thunderstorm over the Jammu and Kashmir divisions and has also warned of scattered to fairly widespread light to moderate rains and thunderstorm for subsequent 2 days. Moreover, it said that Jammu needs to be prepared as isolated heavy rains, thunderstorms, and lightning in the area can disrupt the traffic, cause landslides, and might result in flash floods, while it also cautioned Kashmir to be aware of deteriorating weather conditions until the further update.
जाएंगे